Hello, this is Chloe here at Inner Whispers. This week I'm going to do a quick video review of the Manga Tarot published by Scarabeo and written by Riccardo Minetti with artwork by Anna Lazzarini. This is a deck that I've had for so long that I got it before I knew that as a collector I should be keeping the boxes. So here you can see the Fool card, because I don't have the box to show you. But it's a typical Lo Scarabeo deck, comes with a little box and a little white book. One of the talking points of this deck, other than the fact that it's done in manga style, is the fact that the gender of all the cards has been changed from the traditional Rider-Waite. So for example here we have what would normally be the Magician is actually the Sorceress and a female, and the High Priestess becomes the Priest, which has a lot more of the Hierophant feel to it. Nevertheless, we do balance it out because of course later on we have the Emperor at 3 and the Empress at 4. And she does look a little bit more forceful and dynamic than perhaps the traditional Empress compared to the Emperor. So it is playing with those gender roles. At 5 we have the Priestess, and this is the one that really feels like the High Priestess. So the Sorceress at the start does have a different feel to her. Romantic lovers, and an interesting take on the Chariot. Justice is at 8, and here we have a man, a samurai catching a sword. I kind of have that feeling like it's one of those Chinese films. I know it's different, obviously manga is Japanese, but that feeling of a sword that's come flying towards him and that he catches between his hands to stop it before it strikes. I really like this female-ish looking hermit, little wise old crone. And Strength has a dragon, which I think is just a wonderful take on it. The Hanged Woman is a little bit unusual. I don't really get that sense of sacrifice here. I guess she is in what might be an uncomfortable position, like you could drown doing a handstand in a waterfall, but it has much more of a feeling of cleansing to me than a traditional version of this card. The Tower focuses on the image in the foreground a lot more than a traditional card would, which gives an interesting perspective change. And in Temperance, this has almost more of a star feel and a flow feel than a traditional Temperance. I don't see the fire, except perhaps in the bird on his chest. I think this is a lovely Devil as well. Altogether, I think this deck is very beautiful, very readable. It was, for quite a while, one of my main go-to decks. And the swapping around of genders really does bring up different questions. Within the suits, each suit has a prime colour to it so that you can sort of guess which suit the card is from at a very quick glance, and it's quite good for in spreads. You can kind of see the balance quite easily. So ones are red and full of energy. As you see, a lot of women here, which really points out that normally there are a lot of men. Normally there are a lot of men in the Wands cards. And a very interesting and rather different Ten of Wands. In terms of the court cards, they've gone for Princess, Prince, Queen and King. But it isn't one of those kings riding on a horse to confuse us. It's just a balancing out of the genders, which I quite like in court cards. The Cups cards are in a yellow base. And I, for example, like this Three of Cups where we have 3 men instead of 3 women, but also with the fans and the fact that they're dancers, it still has a female archetype feel to it, portrayed in a masculine way. So I like that changing of the traditional genders, shall we say. I think that really works quite well. As you can see, the cards are very traditional in their Rider-Waite symbolism, though with obvious Asian influences and differences, which I think are very beautiful. The Nine of Cups is a little bit unusual. I wouldn't normally associate a baby, but perhaps if that is your wish. And a very cute Ten of Cups. I rather like this Princess of Cups. She's quite fearsome. And the Prince feels more like the traditional page that we would have. In fact, all the princesses are riding animals, so they are really more of the knight card. Swords are blue. And once again, the change in genders gives us a different perspective. Marking a line in the sand, this far and no further. And here they're really dropping their swords overboard, so it is much more that sense of leaving old ideas and thought patterns behind. True Nightmares. And a wonderful Ten of Swords, really getting to that things aren't as bad as you think they are. Princess of Swords on what I think is a whale. Not sure about that one. And what does it mean that the Queen of Swords has a snapped sword? That she doesn't put thought above compassion? Interesting. The Pentacles are predominantly green, different tones. I love this little yin-yang in the water with the pentacles that she creates. Being attached to money locks you away from what's important. A shrine rather than a church. Generosity to lepers. And I find it interesting, the Nine of Pentacles is so very feminine for me in many ways. This really changes it. It's no longer about being an independent woman. In some ways I miss that, but I also like the difference. And a wonderful Princess of Pentacles, leaving behind your armour, getting in touch with your body and nature. So that is the Manga Tarot by Scarabeo. I think it's a very interesting deck, very readable, very enjoyable, and one I'd highly recommend. I hope you found this review interesting and that you'll come back again soon. In the meantime, please listen to your own inner whispers.